Hi Homeworthy, my name is Speronella Marsh and welcome to my home in Shropshire. Come in.
You're watching Homeworthy, where we believe every home has a story. If you're like me and your favorite TV show is one that's only available overseas, Surfshark VPN is your new best friend. With Surfshark, I can instantly change my virtual location to access shows and sporting events that aren't available in the US, like streaming Wimbledon coverage straight from London. But Surfshark isn't just about entertainment, it encrypts all of my internet activity, keeping my data private and secure wherever I'm working. Surfshark works on unlimited devices with just one account. That means my entire household stays protected. And with over 3,200 servers in 100 countries, I can truly feel like I'm browsing anywhere in the world. It also saved me a ton of money on travel. By switching my location, I've been able to find cheaper flights and hotel deals, which is a game changer when we're filming in places like Jamaica or Italy. On top of that, Surfshark blocks ads and malware, and even offers extras like Surfshark Antivirus, Surfshark Alert, and Surfshark Search to keep every part of my online life protected. Right now, you can get all these incredible benefits plus 4 extra months for free by using my code HOMEWORTHY at checkout. Just head to surfshark.com/homeworthy to claim the offer.
Hello, my name is Speronella Marsh and I own a company called Speronella Marsh Limited, which designs fabrics and wallpapers. And welcome to my home here in Shropshire in the UK. And this is my dog, and she's called Lady Iris Potato, and she's my little mascot. This house belongs to my husband, and it's his family home, and we have moved in this house 10 years ago. The house has been in the family for actually nearly 100 years now. We're 80 plus years. And when Ben inherited it, we needed to do a lot of work to it because it hadn't been touched for a good 50 years. So we gutted it, and we started gutting it around 13 years ago, and 12 years ago, and 10 years ago we moved in. So we are in the hallway of this house, and this house is a Victorian house, and it's quite long and thin, so the hall happens to be in the back of the house, so it's quite dark as a space, as a room. And so I wanted to create a bit of light and space and air, even though being dark and long. So that's why I have put very little furniture in this hall. There are pictures everywhere. My dog Layla, who is a bronze, and she sits here very quietly, and that's about it. A table at the end, and the curtains in this room were actually printed by me, and the design that these curtains are is the seaweed. And the seaweed is, I spent many summers when the children were young, what we call in England bucket and spading holidays in Cornwall. And so this is the inspiration for this design. And the green that I created here matches the green, which is a Farrow and Ball green, which I can't remember the name, but that is the color. And again, when you walk into our house, the first thing that you see is this huge charcoal of a horse, which I bought around 20 years ago. And the artist, she's English, she's called Claire Northington, I think. My memory is not brilliant, but I bought it and it just looks fantastic in this space. Again, big things. I'm a great believer, the smaller the space, or the tighter or narrower the space, just put big things in it and it just makes it, it doesn't close it up or crank it up. And again, also dark. If a room is dark, keep the dark colors on the wall. Don't put a white, well, I think so. A white or a pale color wouldn't work in here. I've got the floors are original, and obviously, of course, we kept them. And so I thought, let's put a dark, warm color on the walls, and big things actually happens to have big pictures, and that's about it. And obviously, the curtains. So that's all there is in this room. These are Swedish lamps, which I found in a shop in Tetbury in Gloucestershire, and just kept it very minimal. I didn't want to clutter this space. It's also a space where people walk in, they walk to the drawing room, or we go upstairs to the bedrooms, or that way to the kitchen. So when you walk in this room, it's a long, narrow room in the back of the house. But what greets us is this lovely big bay window with lots of light. This is mainly all the light comes from here. So this table actually is Italian, and my parents, it's 16th century, and it belonged to my parents, and they gave it to me. And and we got some lovely books on it, and a big lamp, which in the winter we do need because it gets quite dark in this room. So we need the light. And another thing I want to point out about this room is that because it's long and thin and dark, it needed splashes of colors. So we bought this sofa, and actually I'll move these cushions, but we bought this sofa, and I thought it needed a splash, so I covered it in this strong yellow, which looks good with the green, looks good with this ink picture, blue ink picture, and also looks good with the floor. And again, none of these colors really make sense, the blue, the green, the red, but actually together it works. And I think also, for me it works, and I think also it works because this room is quite empty, so the splash of color or this big picture focuses your eye, and everything else looks quite, it's like a soft surround on it. And everything, of course, the main focus is the light of that window that comes in, and also actually works well with Layla because it just shines on Layla, and again, it focuses your eye on one thing and the rest just looks good around it. I love collecting. I collect anything from a piece of paper to pressed flowers. And these actually is my collection of pumpkins that I dry. We grow in the garden. These shells, my husband gave them to me. And they obviously they're French, and they obviously lived outside in somebody's house, but they live here, and I love them. I think they're just so funny and warm and sweet, and I should put them outside, but actually I like them in here. So they just add a bit of a curiosity in this room, especially when people walk in to go towards the kitchen. This part of the hallway is actually, it's a walk through to the kitchen, but it's also, we got a table here, a big mirror. Again, there's light from this window, and this is a dark hallway because it's north facing. So anything to create more light. So the mirror here reflects the light of the window from that room. And this table, which I bought many, many years ago from a friend of mine, lives here. And actually, funny enough, I bought these lovely lamps from him as well. And I've had these for a really long time, and I love them. The fresh green looks really good with the soft, warm green of the walls. And here, there's always something that sits here, whether it's flowers or whatever. There's always something here of some interest. We had to renovate this house from top to toe as an old Victorian house. This house was built in 3 sections, and we're actually in the first section of the house, which was built in around 1840s. And these houses were built in a way that there were lots of bedrooms and very few bathrooms. And when we inherited it, actually, it had 3 bathrooms and like 12, 13, or even 14 bedrooms. So we really now smashed it around, and it is now a 7-bedroom, 6-bathroom house. So the top floor, we did quite a lot to it. Downstairs, not a lot apart from the kitchen area. And so that's how I actually started my block printing business, because we had to gut this house, literally bring it back to brick and replumb it, redoing all the electrics, all the things that are behind the scenes and you can't really see them. But by the time we got to decorating the house, there was very little money left in the kitty. And so coming to curtains and soft furnishings, we couldn't really afford any buying any fabrics. And so that's how I came across. I've been collecting vintage linen sheets, French sheets, for a long time. It's been a passion of mine. I'm a collector, and while we go through the house, I will point out lots of things that I collect. And so vintage linen sheets is one thing that I've always collected. So I decided to teach myself how to block print, and I did. And actually, funny enough, this room, which is our drawing room, is the first room that I designed a fabric for. We needed 120 meters of fabric for all the curtains in this room, but actually I used 12 sheets, and I created our first design, which is the acorn. And that's how it all started. So yes, and so the design process was gutting, rebuilding, and then with my ideas and my designs, we, added. I might add here that I'm Italian. My husband comes from Shropshire. I'm Italian. So there's a lot of Italian influence in this house. I was brought up in Rome, and so I've always had muted color. The buildings in Rome have been are layers and layers and layers of hundreds of years of paint on walls, and faded, fainted paint colors. So all the fabrics that I produce, or the wallpapers that I produce, there is a faded look to that. And I think really that stems from my upbringing. So now I'm going to take you into our drawing room. This is a big drawing room. It was once, we are sitting on the original house, which was built in the 1840s, and looking at the ceilings of this room, it was quite obvious that it was two rooms, one there and one here, and a hallway in between. But sometime, and I am afraid I don't know when, but well before my husband's family moved in this house in 1947, 49. This room was made into one. And it's a huge paneled room. It's a very, very big room. And when I came here, what worried me about this room was the imbalance of the room in the way that there's a fireplace at one end, but there isn't one on the other end. And what attracted me to this room was these incredible bay windows, which let all the light in. So this is the room where my design started. This is the first ever design I printed, which is the acorn, and that's how it started. The brown of the design works well with the floors, and the blue is a color I liked. I'm a blue person. So when I looked at this room, I said, how am I going to connect these two sides of the room? The fireplace side, which is going to be the obvious side where people are going to walk in because a fire is going to be lit and they're going to be drawn into the side of the room. So how do I get people to come also on this side of the room? So the one thing that I did is we had two rugs made, and they're both identical, and they basically tie the two sides of the room. So when you walk in, it doesn't feel that that there's a dysfunction between one space and the other. There's a disconnect between one space and the other, because the rugs, even though they're on the floor, they put the two things together. The other thing that we did is put the drinks table here, which is really useful. We are a big family, and there are lots of friends, and we love entertaining. So this is the perfect room. Many parties have happened in here, including my 50th, which was really good fun. So the drinks table, very important. Lots of people come here and help themselves, and that's another way to get people to come to this side of the room. The other thing that we have, and we all love at Christmas, we always have a puzzle going. And when it's not Christmas, we play a lot of backgammon, we play lots of cards. So it's fun. If people are sitting on that side of the room, there are often people here playing, and especially when it's backgammon, you play and the loser usually comes back, sits down, and somebody else plays the winner. So that is rather nice. And the other thing that I want to show you in this room, I love making things. I'm a maker. I love using my hands. Don't give me a computer, I'll be useless, but I love doing things with my hands. So I made all these gourds. I love playing with clay, and all these gourds. And again, I love collecting as well. So when I make something, I don't make one, I make 20. It's like a collected thing that I have. And so these are all made by me, and they're all around the house. Funny enough, there's another one around there. The other thing, when Ben and I came here, there was actually very, very little furniture in this house. So we had to start from scratch. So these tables we had made by this incredible local maker, iron maker, and he made them in a sort of Giacometti style. I'm Italian, passionate about Giacometti, so we did our own interpretation. This fender, I bought this fabric in a shop, actually in a shop in London, and I decided to make a fender which was very wide, so in the winter, we live in Shropshire, it's cold and wet, it's really nice to sit in front of the fire and warm up. Again, this is made by a local company, and this Susani is a new Susani which we bought and had it made, and it's really nice when people sit there and there's space for people to sit here. And actually this the Susani, the camera might not see this, but the Susani is quite marked, and it's marked because many people have partied on the Susani, danced, drinks have gone all over the place. I am a great believer in using a house. I'm not precious about my house. I prefer to have fun and have breakages than being precious and being a bit stiff. The other thing that I did in this house is we had this. A friend of mine was so generously gave me these 2 armchairs, which she didn't need anymore, and that's how the boat, which is another one of my designs, that's how that was created for these 2 armchairs. So this room doesn't have any uplighting or lights from the ceiling. And actually lighting is something that I find really difficult, and certainly something that I make mistakes with all the time. But so I decided that in this room, we needed lights everywhere. So if somebody's sitting over here and they want to read, or these lights get turned on. Funny enough, actually in there is a light. There's a spotlight which you can't see, which just spots the table for playing cards or puzzle or backgammon or whatever it is. And then this side, obviously there's this side, there are lights which are around the room, and they're just soft lights, just to create a warm feeling when you come in here. And in the summer, obviously, all the windows are open. The door gets open to the outside if it's not raining. And in the winter, the curtains get drawn and the shutters get shut, and the soft color lights create this warm feeling with the fire and people, lots of people. Being creative is, especially when you don't have a lot of money, because we've spent all the money doing this house up in things that you actually can't see. It makes you become more creative and with other things. So these are old sacks, basically rice sacks, or sacks where they used to they actually come from Romania or Poland, or I don't think they're French, these sacks, but anyway, I bought lots of them, all different colors, and I just stuffed them and made them into our window seats. The other thing I actually want to point out is these two really lovely French mirrors, and they actually are, they're not that old, they're 1960s French. This is made out of tin, and I spotted them in a antique store in Wiltshire, which is another county in the UK, and they fitted really well with this paneling that we have in the room. So I was very lucky to find them. Now we're going to head into our kitchen dining room area. So follow me. So this is our kitchen. This is the room that we live in, all of us. So when we came here, this was a passageway. The kitchen was here, which was a very dark room. This bit was where the stairs were, and they went up. And this was just a room that people just sat in. So my husband and I knew that we wanted a room that everybody came in. I love cooking, but I love hearing the banter, people chatting while I cook. We got a TV and the kids. And so we decided, right, let's smash the whole lot. So we did. We moved the stairs to next door. We smashed everything. I designed these doors. So we are really, Bridge North, where we are here, is very close to a place called Ironbridge. And Ironbridge really is where the Industrial Revolution started. So I think that was really important for me. And that's how I got the idea of this room. I wanted to make it look like a factory, a utilitarian room. Big, with factory-like types of furniture. Funny enough, actually, we found these lamps, and they come from a factory. Obviously, we don't know what factory they are, but they came from a factory based here in the Midlands. So these doors I designed, and this amazing man was so lovely, and I was so obsessed with the fact that the metal had to be thin, and he was so good to me. He wanted to go much thicker, but he followed my instructions, and obviously the only thick bit is here because you have to have the mechanics of the handles of the doors, but the rest is very, very thin. And the same thing as this dresser. This dresser was designed by me. And again, the doors are very, very thin, so they're made out of metal. Obviously, if they were made out of wood, they would have had to be much thicker to withstand the weight of the glass. But again, we made them out of metal, very thin, and so it just gives that industrial effect. Blue is my color, definitely very much blue is my color. And again, this room was painted blue, but it needed a splash. I strongly believe in a splash, wherever it is, on the floor, on the ceiling, on the walls, wherever. So the splash for me here was the red of our dresser. And when you walk in this room, which I then added, you will see these blinds. These blinds actually are tablecloths, which I bought in a shop in London. And these are big windows in this kitchen, and we got 5 big windows. So I bought 5 tablecloths, and added a red splash around them, border around them, just to connect the whole thing together. The other thing that I really wanted was an island. I love an island, especially my youngest daughter loves cooking, and we love cooking together, and it's a lot happens on this island. And also the other thing that happens on this island is my flowers. I have a wall garden, and I love flowers in the house, absolutely love flowers in the house. So it's dahlia season. We're in August in England, and so this is the dahlia. So this is where I display my flowers, especially because we live in this house. We live in this room all the time, so most of the flowers are in here. The other thing that I want to point out is, again, is my pumpkins. So these are my pumpkins up here, and these are all failures. They're actually, if you turn them around, they're cracked or whatever, but these are, again, I love making them. I'm obsessed with making things, and I actually haven't made many for a while now because my fabrics and my wallpapers take too much of my time. And the other thing that I want to point out, I will talk more about my table, but we entertain a lot, and we just love having lots of people around. But again, the flowers on this table, they are made by me. They're paper flowers, and if you look at one specific one, I mean, they're made in a very naive way, but actually all together they just create a really fun effect. These red stools actually come out of a nightclub in London. I don't know what nightclub, but I found them on Portobello Road. My daughter and I found them on Portobello Road, and I said, great, they're red, brilliant, let's buy them. And they were literally, they cost nothing. They were £50 a stool, which is really not a lot. And actually, thank goodness, they work very well with that red. But yes, and my husband often sits here while I cook, and we chat, and they're actually very useful. The other thing I want to emphasize in this room is we had to do a lot of banging about. We just got rid of lots of walls, so we had to add all these SJs to obviously support the room. And again, I didn't want to hide them. It's so easy to say, actually, let's box them in, or let's make a ceiling which is a bit lower so you don't see them. But actually I thought, no, they are part of this room. This is what this room is. And I believe a lot in that when I decorate. It's mistakes or things which are not as pretty, it's okay to see them, because the overall look is what you look at and people look at. The details sometimes, even a detail like this one, actually adds to the look. This is actually, it's an Everhot, which is a new sort of aga, and this is where I cook. We've got 4 ovens, 2 very hot ones, 1 not so hot, and the other one like a warming oven. And we have 2 plates, very hot plate on this side and not so hot there. And believe it or not, we cook everything here. I'm a Mediterranean, I'm Italian, so my style of cooking is Mediterranean, very simple ingredients. And so the aga, actually, the Everhot is actually perfect for me. And the ovens are quite big. So for Christmas, not for Thanksgiving, because obviously in England we don't have Thanksgiving, but for Christmas, the big turkey fits in there, no problem. This is where we eat, and this is where we entertain and have family, and it's just a lot of fun discussions and parties have happened here. So the chairs are printed in one of our designs called the zigzag, and they get washed a lot because the fingerprints are, as you can imagine, but yes, they get washed a lot. And the tablecloth is actually our seaweed. As we have the seaweed curtains in the hall, this is actually a seaweed in a different color, which I call duck egg blue. All my designs are printed on antique linen sheets, and actually, if you, no, this doesn't, usually they have a monogram, but funny enough, this sheet doesn't. It actually has a small monogram here, but usually they have them there, but not this sheet. So again, I love layering. I love fabrics. I love putting one fabric on top of the other. So often, actually, I also put other fabrics like table mats on top of the tablecloth. In the evening, I love candlelight. I love the softness that the candlelight creates. And so we have these candlelights, and actually these are little lampshades, which are my wallpapers. And I hate to throw anything away. And when I cut wallpapers for samples for clients, on a 52 wide, there's always a bit left over. And so I make these candle shades, which look really lovely at night. The other thing that I always have on a table is flowers, whatever the season. My favorite season is autumn. I love autumn, so I'm very much looking forward to it coming. And autumn, I just go out and pick tiny little branches from trees with the red leaves on them. I love it. And pumpkins, I grow pumpkins. I love pumpkins on a table. I just, whatever is around in the garden, it comes in. I'm quite obsessed about that. And actually, funny enough, this table is an old table that Ben had, and I love it because it's 1.5 meters wide, which gives you enough space to have your plates and everything and put flowers in the middle and food. The other thing is going back to collecting. Ischia, which is an island in Italy, which my husband and I go to, and we were very fond of. It's got this incredible, the first time we went, we discovered this incredible ceramic company, which has been there for nearly 300 years. And these are all handmade and painted in Ischia. And we ordered quite a few, and it actually took 1.5 years for them to arrive here, but they have, and I love them. And again, blue for me is my color. I love blue, so you will see a lot of blue. Yes, that's my art table. My husband actually bought these pictures many years ago, and it's not a totally accurate view of New York, but it's pretty close. These are old, I would say Spanish prints that I found in a junk shop. I love going to junk shops. Whenever you see a junk shop, I go in. 99% of the time you find nothing, but once in a while you find a gem. And over the last 30 years, I have found quite a few gems. And so I'm always, you never know. So yes, these were found in a junk shop. And this actually, copper fish, is Venetian. And in Venice in the 50s, 60s, very often outside a restaurant, they would hang, these are like signs saying there's fish, fish, and this, we sell fish. So that's where that comes from. And these pictures are actually drawings, pencil drawings that we bought, I don't know, quite a while ago. I can't remember where. And then actually we move to this side of the room, and this is our cozy area. This room, this whole room has got underfloor heating. We also have the heat from our Everhot and obviously our fire. And actually it's toasty warm here in the winter when it's very cold. And we all sit around here, we watch TV here. This sofa, I would say that it's Ben and my sofa, but actually it's not, it's a dog's sofa. And they allow us to sit on it with them. So we love this room. And this rug actually is one of my rugs which I sell, and they are merino wool rugs, and this is one of my designs, and again manufactured and made in England in this incredible factory which I went to. And this factory started in 1799, and they are still in the same factory. Incredible place near Leeds, and where they create these beautiful, beautiful things. Another thing that I do is once in a while I can be quite dangerous with a paintbrush. So I bought this rug many, many, many years ago, and it was grey and yellow. And one day not so long ago, a couple of years ago, I was sitting here and I thought, well, A, it's getting a bit dirty, B, it needed a bit of a spruce up, or actually B, I thought, ooh, I might need a new rug. But actually then I thought, actually, you know what, I'm going to do the C. I'm going to actually paint, because I work with textiles and I work with fabric dyes. I got one of the reds that I use to block print, and I started, and I got a roller, and basically with some masking tape, I mask taped and created some red lines, and that's how this rug has come about. And actually it works. It's not uniform. It's obviously made quite, I mean, it's just a bit of fun. Again, have fun. It's a bit of fun. So yeah, that's what this rug is all about. This picture is painted by an artist called Emma Sargent, and actually I met Emma Sargent in the 80s, and actually this was her first, not her first, I don't know if it was her first exhibition, but it was an exhibition in 1986, 87, to which I went to. And she, at the time, spent a lot of time in Pakistan. And so her exhibition was mostly about Pakistan and men and women. And I actually found this, funny enough, in an auction house in 2010, 2015, actually no, around 2010, and recognized it immediately. I'm very lucky to say that Emma and I have become friends over the years. And so, yes, so I bought it in this auction house, and I love it. I actually have another one upstairs, which I'll show you later. My designs, so in essence, I'm a block printer. I'm a self-taught block printer, and most of my inspiration really comes from the garden. I'm obsessed with vegetables, and what I'm obsessed with is actually the form of the leaves of plants, flowers, vegetables. I love flowers, but the leaf is really what I love. So most of my inspiration really comes from my garden and from the outside countryside. So, for example, in this drawing room, the curtains are the acorn, which is my first ever design, and that literally was inspired by me walking in the woods in the autumn and seeing an acorn on the floor, and that's how the whole design, inspiration for the design came from. I started block printing. We moved into this house in 2015, and I really started teaching myself how to block print in around 2016, when we had this small matter of putting curtains in this house. So I taught myself for a couple of years, and I then started, my friends started coming home to see me and say, God, I love this fabric. This is great. Can you print some for me? And I started printing on our dining room table, and that's how it all started. And from the dining room table, I then had to move out because I was getting more and more orders, and I moved down to where I am now in my studio, which is down the road. And in 2020, after COVID, in 21, 22, people kept on asking me, do you do wallpapers? Do you print wallpapers? So I started looking into that. And actually the wallpapers, I don't block print. They are digitally printed in this country. I'm a real believer in doing, having as much as I possibly can in the UK. And actually Shropshire is in the Midlands. And the Midlands, it really is the start of the Industrial Revolution actually started not so far away from here. And it's full of incredible manufacturers around here. So that's where my wallpapers are all printed. They're all digitally printed. So in 2023, I launched our first collection, which is actually of 6 designs. And most of the designs, apart from one, are designs that are actually in this house and started my company. And they are, the acorn is one of them. And the acorn, actually, the size of the wallpaper of the acorn is the only one which I didn't tweak, I didn't shrink. But the other ones, like the seaweed or eastern leaves or Cindy's needles, I did shrink to a wallpaper size. And that's actually now evolved into our second wallpaper collection, which I launched this February. And that is the small scale wallpaper, small scale collection. And that is 3 designs, which is the Flotta, the Cindy's Light, and Frond. And that evolved into, actually, which is really exciting, a new collection of fabrics, not printed by me, but actually woven. They're plain fabrics, they're woven, and they're again woven in this country. And we are actually launching them in London this September. So I'm very excited about that. And they're all colors that complement our wallpapers. So from a small cottage industry, which started in 2018, in 2025, we're now about to launch our first plain woven colors. So yeah, it's all very excited. It's a big something. I never thought I was going to get to this. I really didn't know what I was getting to when I started, but there you go. It's very exciting. So from this room, we go through a bit of a messy corner, but then we go down to our downstairs loo, and I'll show you this room. So this room is one of my wallpapers, is this one, which is called Flotta, and it's one of our new designs, the small scale designs, and it's a rather warm, it's what's called oxblood, and it's a rather warm color. This room is very dark, so I needed to warm it up a bit. The other thing that I've got in this room, again, my collecting, is these are Italian 1960s, 1970s mirrors, and I collect them. Whenever I find one, I buy it. And actually I've got, funny enough, I got one more there, and it's sitting there because I need to find another one so I can put one there and one there. And so that's where they come from. I love pressing of flowers. Actually, I do a lot of pressing of flowers, but these are not done by me. These are Swedish 1920s, 1930s. And actually, this is what they did in Sweden. They taught children how to press flowers and then write on the side what flower it was, when they did it. And it's really rather charming. And they're just very simply, I had them framed in a very simple wooden color, wooden frame, and it looks really well with the wallpaper. It doesn't clash, and it's quite subtle, but it just decorates the whole wall. I want to take you into this room, which is the bathroom where these are original. So this is one thing that was in this house when we came here. All the floors, most of the floors in this house are original, and the woodwork and the radiators are original, obviously not Victorian, but later on. All the shutters are original, the doors are original, and also this lovely double sink. Which is really, we love it. I love it. And it's a very English design. Now we go up the stairs to the bedrooms. Iris, come on. Iris, come on, come with me. So, this is our bedroom. Funny enough, this was the last bedroom that I decorated. When we moved here, I had so many rooms to do. And this room, actually, I painted just a pale yellow cream because I really didn't know what I wanted in here. And I thought, I'm going to live in it for a bit. And actually a bit became quite a few years. And then finally, I decided what to do. When we started our wallpapers, I designed Eastern Leaves, which is this wallpaper. And I knew the moment I designed it that this was going to go into our bedroom. So we moved here in 2015. And actually, it took a long time. I think this wallpaper went up in the end of 2023, something like that. This room is, again, the perfect example of mixing and matching. So this pelmet I found through a dealer in London, and obviously this is obvious that this pelmet was for somebody's window, and I bought it and actually printed on the inside. I just literally got it and printed two of my designs on the inside, the nut and the leaf, and these colors don't match at all with the wallpaper or with our bed cover, But all together, this is red, this is pink, vivid green, and none of them really go with the wallpaper, but actually, again, it works. The softness of these colors help me bring in brighter colors. So this rug, actually, I love this rug. It comes from a lady called Penny Morrison. She's a very big British designer. And my husband actually gave me this rug when we first moved here. I saw it, fell in love with it, and he very kindly bought it for me. And yeah, I love it. I love it. And again, the great thing about rugs, I think, is because accidents do happen, not so much in the bedroom, but in halls and in downstairs in a drawing room, people might drop a glass, well, a cup of coffee might be dropped here. I just add a rug. Often I add a rug, and upstairs you will see rugs, and probably there's a rug because there's a mark underneath. Not in this case, I might add, but yes, that's the beauty about rugs. Just hide something, a mistake that's happened. I love having pictures on a wall. I really do. Sometimes people say to me, don't you have enough pictures? In my eyes, you can never, ever have enough pictures. I'm really, if I have to move them all closer together, that is fine. I'm actually a great believer, and funny enough, wallpapers are a great backdrop to pictures. And I'm discovering this because I'm putting more and more wallpapers in our house. Every design we create, one gets hung in our house. And actually, they're a fantastic backdrop for pictures. These pictures that you see here, actually, they all mean a lot to me because I've had them for such a long time, apart from that one over there that actually my husband gave me a few years ago. But all these pictures, I think I've had this for 30 years. And because I love collecting, I actually do remember why I bought the picture, how I fell in love with it, and where it's been in different houses in my life in the last 30 years. So yes, these pictures do mean a lot to me. They do. They're just part of my story. When we moved here, I think this was the hardest room for me to design because it was our bedroom. And as I said earlier, it took me a while to work it out. The walls were painted cream, and they were cream for a long time. But I wanted to create something warm. It's my bedroom. It's cold. These are big Victorian windows, and when the wind comes, you hear it. And so I wanted to create a cozy look. So even though it took me quite a long time to achieve it, because this wallpaper didn't go up until 2023, it actually was the last thing to create, to just put the whole room together. The bed, the prints, the fabrics on the bed. In the winter, actually, I add even more fabrics on the bed. Again, it's about layering one fabric on top of the other, and that creates a warm, cozy look. So I always knew that this room was going to be girly in a funny sort of way. This is a masculine home. It stands proud, this house. It's got big rooms. So I wanted this room to be a bit girly because obviously it's my bedroom, and I think that I've achieved it, but I'm sure I'm going to add on to it always. When we moved into this house, this house was empty furniture-wise, was empty. There was no furniture in this house, very little. So slowly, we had to find things. And obviously, I needed a dressing table. And actually, this is a Victorian dressing table that we found quite a few. It took us really a long time to find it, but we did find it. I think just before COVID, so 2019, and it's obviously, I love it because it's Victorian, and this house is Victorian. So, and also I love it because it's big, so I can put all my things on it, and it gives me space. And again, this mirror I bought with a very good friend of mine in a local auction house. I do believe going to local auction houses, you never know. Just go. Wherever you live, go to your local auction house. You'll be amazed what you find. And so this probably comes out of a local house around here. And it's a big mirror, which is what I needed. And it works perfectly on this big table. Now we're going to go into my daughter's bedroom. Follow me. On the way to going to my daughter's bedroom, I actually want to point out this little nook here. So this table is made out of metal, and I bought it really many years ago from a dealer, and I love it. This swan actually is the first present that my husband gave to me many years ago, and I love it. It's made out of wood. It's painted. It's incredibly fragile because the paint actually chips off, so you don't really want to lift it. We put it here, and it's stayed here ever since. And actually, this picture was painted by my daughter. She's not an artist, but she works with inks, and this is she did this actually during COVID. She did this iris. She went in the garden. We have lots of irises in the garden in May, and this is her interpretation of one of our irises in our garden. I want to show you this bedroom because this is this is my daughter's bedroom, and it's just she's in her 20s now, but when we moved here, she was 15, something like that. Yes, around 15. She was 15. And this wallpaper actually is our Cindy's Needle, and it's one of the wallpapers that I created. And this actually, I think it's a really charming wallpaper because it really warms up a room. Again, this room is in the north side of the house, so there is light that comes in, but it also is actually quite a dark room, can be quite a dark room. My daughter, poor my daughter, I feel sorry for her. She got the same thing like me. She loves collecting art. So she started very young, and she started with posters from galleries, exhibitions that I've taken her to, and her room is full of pictures that either she's collected or things that she's painted herself. Follow me to another bedroom. So this is a spare bedroom, which is, again, very simply done. Blue color on the walls, lots of pictures, and actually these are old sheets which I collected, and I had these curtains made well before I started block printing myself, but one day I'll get to them. But what I really want to show you about this room is, again, my fascination with collecting. So follow me to this bathroom. these are called sailors' valentines. And when sailors were in their travels, they used to collect shells and then make these beautiful, beautiful little hangings to give to their loved ones. And I've been obsessed with them for 30 plus years. I've been collecting them like mad. They're getting rarer and rarer to collect. But I just wanted to show you this wall because, again, whatever you love, whether it's plates, sailors' valentines, whatever, if you collect something, if you put it all together in a room, it actually creates a really fantastic impact. Whatever it is, it could be a tin can, all different colors, or covers of a book, but they're all red. Whatever it is, it just creates a really lovely impact. And these are my sailors' valentines, which I am very fond of and keep on collecting all the time. This room is a bathroom, and this light I actually bought for, I used to live in Wiltshire before I moved here, and I bought for a hallway in Wiltshire, and actually it's ended up in this bathroom. These are wonderful. These are all original. They were all in this house, and there are no towels on them at the moment, but they are hot, so they keep your towels warm. Again, these is what I call junk, things that I bought in junk shops. I found these two, and actually, if you look at them closely, they're full of cracks. They're broken. They are really of no value whatsoever, but they just create some fun, some statement, some color in this, in this space while you're having a bath. You can just look around and have a matter of interest around you. These curtains were given to me by a friend of mine when I was doing up this house, and she said, I've got these, I don't need them, do you want them? And of course I took them, and I loved them. So yes, that is this room. And this rug on the floor I found in a shop in London. And I'm sure that actually one day I'm going to put another, I can see a runner here. So one day, and the other thing I've learned about the design and decorating is that when you think, like I can see I need a runner here, I'm not going to go out and buy a runner. I'll buy it when I see it. Doesn't matter if it takes 10 years before you find it. But I think it's much better to find the right thing rather than just put anything because you think that you need a runner here. So this is another bedroom. This again is one of our wallpapers, and this is the seaweed. And again, this room is on the north side of the house, so it's dark, so it needs warmth. And wallpaper actually is a very good way to warm up a room. In Nida, I found this mirror in a company actually called Oka. It's a brand new mirror, but it was a nice splash of red. Always, if you can, add a splash of color wherever you can. I always think that really works. And again, on this side, this is my stepson's room, and he loves art too. And so slowly we are building his collection. There's more space to go on the wall, but we'll get there. It takes time, and actually it doesn't matter if there's a gap in your wall. It'll come. It'll let it evolve naturally. When you find the picture that looks right, then you put it on, you buy it and you hang it. And lots of these pictures are really, I promise you, they do come from a junk shop. They don't come, they're of no value whatsoever. But putting them all together just creates a really good look. What I love most about my home is this is a Victorian house. And Victorian house, first of all, they were built very solidly, which this house is. I would say this house is a masculine house rather than a pretty house, but it stands proud. And what I love about this house is the sizes of the rooms. They're big rooms, big windows, and so they bring in a lot of light. And as a Roman, I really appreciate that. I like the sense of space and the light that comes through the windows. Come into the garden with me. I'll show you my garden. So this is my wall garden, and in the wall garden we have raised beds that I use for growing vegetables and annuals mainly. And in the other side there's our herbaceous border, and in the middle actually we have lots of bulbs that grow here in the middle. And I get tulips and irises and camassias and fritillarias and alliums, but obviously they're all gone now because it's August. So yes, this is mainly really one of my main places where I get a lot of inspiration. I look at a leaf more than a flower. So like the leaf of artichoke, or actually I'll show you later, there are leaves of maclears over there, which actually one of my big designs is a maclear, and that stems from this garden. At the moment, obviously we're at the end of the season, so things are dying back. But still, there's a lot of flowers that I can pick for the house. And this time of the year, mainly, it is dahlias, funny enough, cosmos, roses. Actually, I can have them, I can pick until really the first serious frosts, which happen in October, November. So yeah, this is my sanctuary in a funny sort of way. I would like to show you actually a maclear, which is, I don't know, it also has another name in America. Actually, it has another name which I now can't remember what it is. But so this leaf is actually one of my designs. It's called the maclear, and leaves is what I love. I'm passionate about form, and I'm passionate about shape, and I love the contrast between the shape of something and the space next to it. And that's why I love block printing, because it gives you this prospect of, it lets my imagination flow on how to balance a design and next to an empty space. So when we came here, this wall garden was completely derelict. There was nothing here. There was tons and tons of soil and tons of plant that it's called ground elder, which is a nightmare. We had to dig really down to get rid of it. The pathways which you see here weren't here. We knew they were here because of pictures that we had, but you couldn't actually see them, so we had to dig them out and find them again. And this area was completely, there were trees growing on it. It was a complete, utter mess. But actually, this area here is where we eat in the summer. And that table gets moved in the middle, and we have a couple of other tables. If we've actually fitted here, I think the max here, we've had 26 people, I think, something like that. And a long, big table, and it's really good fun. And what's so lovely about here is that it's got a really lovely view of the hills, of the Shropshire Hills. It is obvious that during the Victorian times, the greenhouse was placed here. You can see the greenhouse where it was here, but we actually decided not to put the greenhouse there because actually it's too hot. So we built a greenhouse here, and it's and what I really do in it is grow all the annuals, vegetables, everything gets grown, started in there, and then moved on to the garden, whether it's a vegetable or an annual. At the moment in there, we have a lot of pelargoniums, not a lot, a few, and more will be brought in, and some other plants, tender plants will be brought in for the winter. But this is really our garden. And funny enough, the garden for me is like the house. I planted one of these, I don't know, 7, 8 years ago, one little plant, tiny. I mean, and it spreads. I planted some of these grasses here, and they're spreading. And I love things doing their thing. I let them do their thing. Just like the house, just just be relaxed about it. Once in a while, obviously, I do have to cut things back, but again, I love watching how this garden is evolving. Like a house, a garden obviously evolves, but a house too. I love watching it evolve, and that's through friends, family, things you buy, things you collect, things you break, things you add on. And yeah, that I'm a great believer in that. These tubs are old washing machines. They're the first washing machines. And I started buying these 30, 40 years ago. I don't think you can find them anymore, but these are original 1920s washing machine. That's how they wash, and they're fantastic planters. And I think I've got 12, and and yes, and I've had them for 30 plus years, and they again have moved with me, and I love them. I really, really love them. What makes a house a home? I think lots of things do, but for me, for sure, is layering colors and fabrics. Make mistakes. I make mistakes all the time, but it's okay, because actually a mistake becomes part of you. I might put a fabric on top of another that really clash, but actually they work. And obviously, for me also, making a house a home is to fill it with friends and people. My husband and I are very lucky. We have 4 children who are now grown up, and they come in with all their friends, and we love mess. I don't mind if somebody spills a glass of wine on a rug. Doesn't matter. It's lived in. Live in your home. That's what I say. You'll create a mess, but it's okay. It's all part of a story. That's what I like about. That's what I think makes a house a home.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to go to homeworthy.com for exclusive content, shopping guides, and so much more.